Welcome to the Basha High School freshman registration for the school year 21-22. We are looking forward to seeing you guys on our campus starting next year. So as you can see, our counselors are split up by alpha. So look at your last name, see what it starts with, and that would be your counselor for all 4 years while you're here at Basha High School. So we want to stay consistent and have you build a relationship with your counselor. So you can see it starts with Mrs. Spilsbury and goes through Mr. Perry, Mr. Snyder, and Miss Dillon, Mr. Smith, and Miss Thompson. Miss Blancarte is at our front desk, and she's the person you're going to see all the time when you come to see us. And Miss Sagman is our social worker who will help you out when you're having some issues that you need to have addressed. So usually our bell schedule looks like this. On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, we have what would be kind of considered a traditional school day. So you guys can see we start high school a whole lot earlier than you do at junior high, but you can also see by the end of 6th hour, you're out of school a whole lot earlier. So this is what we expect to go back to for your freshman year when you get here. You can see that we have 3 lunches. Typically, almost all the freshmen have a lunch. That way you guys can still be with some of your friends that you already know for lunch. And then you would go to a lunch, and then you'd go to 4th hour, and then have 5th hour, 6th hour. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, we have a block schedule so that you only have half of the classes on each of those days. So on Wednesdays, we usually do even-numbered classes, so your periods 2, 4, 6. And on Thursdays, we do your odd-numbered classes, so periods 1, 3, 5. And then we have a conference time in the morning, which gives you the opportunity to catch up on homework, go to a teacher's class that maybe you were sick for a few days and need to catch up on some work or take an exam. So that tends to work out pretty well for our students. Now, if we have to, for whatever reason, stay with the schedule that we currently have this year, it would look like this. 0 hours, which we'll talk about a little later, but you'd have 0 hour every day from 6:25 to 7:22. And then we would be on a block schedule every day. So in that case, we have periods 1, 3, 5, and then the other days would be 2, 4, 6. And you can see that the length of the class periods is a lot longer then. We still have a conference time, and with this current bell schedule, we have 4 lunch periods, but again, we try to keep the freshmen with a lunch if possible. So you can take a look at that and see what it would look like. But again, hopefully we won't have that next year. So let's talk really quickly about graduation requirements, just so that you kind of have an idea. The middle column shows the Chandler School graduation requirements. This is what everybody has to do to get through high school and earn your diploma. So 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 3 lab science credits, 3 social studies credits. So everybody's going to take world history of some level, either regular or AP, American history, either regular or AP. And then senior year, you would have 1 U.S. government class and 1 economics class, and you could take those as regular or APs. Everybody needs 1 full year of a career tech ed class or a fine art. So some examples of fine arts would be classes where you are creating something or performing. So dance class, art class, music classes, you're learning how to create music or sing. Art classes where you're learning how to draw and paint and make sculptures. Career Tech Ed classes are classes that focus on a specific career that you may want to explore. So examples of those could be our engineering program for students that are interested in careers in engineering. We have a nursing program. We have an early childhood education program for students that may want to work with children for a career. We have culinary. We have digital photography and graphic design. So we have a lot of options for those classes as well. For foreign language, let's look at that. That's Spanish, French, Chinese, American Sign Language. To graduate high school, you do not need any of those classes. However, look at the requirements to enter an Arizona university, right? You need at least 2 credits or a level 2 of a foreign language class. So if you were doing Spanish 1 right now in 8th grade and you came to Basha and you went right into Spanish 2, when you were done with that year, that would be okay because Spanish 2 counts as 2 units of a language, okay? If you come in and start with a level 1 in high school, then you do level 1 and a level 2. PE, you need 1 full year of it. Comprehensive Health is a class all Chandler students take. It's a half a credit. And then you have 5.5 credits of electives, and that gives you a total of 22 credits. What we're trying to show you with the Arizona University requirements is we're trying to show you just how well our graduation requirements line up with the university requirements. So basically, if you just go through high school and you do a good job and you get all your credits, you're going to be set up to go to a university in Arizona and also universities all across the country because they're pretty much all the same. The only thing that may be different with universities in other states is they may need a 3rd level of a world language instead of just 2. Okay? Okay. So your teacher now has this registration worksheet, and perhaps they've already handed it out to you before the presentation started. But this is the worksheet that you will use to work on what classes you want for high school. So as you can see, there's the core academic subjects that everybody's going to take some version of: English, math, social studies, and science. So you're going to use this, and you can use it as a scratch paper. It doesn't have to be perfect or pretty, but you want to kind of line up all your classes on paper first before you get to the computer so you know what you're wanting to select. So you've got a couple of options for English. You got some options for math. The option in the middle, you'll notice it has an asterisk by it, and there's 2 classes. So what that means is if you select that option in the middle for math, you're going to have 2 separate math classes during freshman year. You're going to have an Algebra 1 class and an Honors Geometry class. So if you're going to have 2 math classes plus the other academic classes, it means you're going to have 1 less elective because we only still have 6 periods in the day. So you have social studies, a couple of options, world history or the AP, and then science, investigative science. Most of our students start there, although you do have the option, if you really like science and you're really good at it, of doing honors biology. And there's also applied biological systems, which counts as a biology credit. And you'll notice that has 2 asterisks next to it too. So if you go down below this little matrix and see the 2 asterisks, it says ABS can be taken concurrently with investigative science, which means do them at the same time, or combined with Ag Science 1 and 2 to meet science graduation requirements, or ABS, Ag Science, and so on to meet science graduation requirements. So there's a lot of information on the sheet. Please take your time, read it through with your parents, make sure you guys understand what it is you want to select. And then you have the option of writing in what you want for electives. So our classes typically have a full year to them, which means there's 1 semester of that class for the fall and a spring semester of the same class. So if you wanted culinary as one of your electives, you would put culinary in both spaces for the fall and the spring because it's a whole year class. There's a spot in there that says 3rd elective only if a 0 hour is desired. So remember when we looked at the bell schedule, 0 hours starts at 6:25 and it's an everyday class. So you would only put a class in there if you purposely want to start school at 6:25 in the morning, or if you are going to have release period for seminary. If you're going to do a release period for seminary, you have to take a 0 hour. And then there are 2 spots at the bottom. It says alternate electives. We need you to fill those in because our electives can fill up very quickly. So if you select 2 electives in the top of that matrix box, and don't give us any alternates, we're not going to know what to put into your schedule if you don't get your first choices. So we will guess, and then you may not be happy, and then there's problems. So tell us what you want. You can find all of the freshman classes on the back of the sheet that you're just looking at. So turn that over, take a look. Those are all the elective courses for this year. What I want you to pay attention to is the last column on the right. It'll tell you if it's a full year course or if it's just one semester. So if it's a full year course, you need to sign up for both semesters. But you'll notice there are some art classes, drawing and painting 1, drawing and painting 2, and so on, that are only semester-long classes. So those you can double up to create a whole year course. Okay, so if you're not sure about courses, there is a high school course catalog that's available. The link to it is the last bullet point. That's on the Chandler Unified School District webpage. And you can click on high school course catalog and you can look at any of the courses that are offered throughout the high school district to see what the courses are about, what you would study if you take them, and so on. Okay? Some things that are important to remember. If you register for a 0-hour class, you must choose 0-hour class numbers as one of your classes and add an extra alternate class. Okay, if you're taking geometry or higher, you should probably be taking honors bio. Fall sports that are available. So if you're thinking you might want to be involved in sports, take a look at that. See which ones are in the fall. Okay. Now, a lot of those, the sports obviously are after school, but we have training classes, weightlifting classes for those particular sports. And so if you're going to be on one of those teams, you would probably be in one of those weight training classes for that particular sport. So an example is swimming is usually a 4th hour swimming weights class. Tennis is usually in that same one. Golf may be 2nd hour, and so on. We'll help you get those into your schedule. The next one's pretty important. That's why it has bold print on it. If you've taken the same foreign language in both 7th and 8th grades, then you can sign up for the 2nd year of that language. And that's what we were talking about earlier, right? A level 2 of a language. But it is also okay to sign up for the same level language class in 9th grade if you need a stronger foundation in that class. So just because you have say a Spanish 1 class right now in 8th grade doesn't mean you have to take Spanish 2 as a freshman. If you're not sure about your skill level or you think you still need more work at it, then take Spanish 1 or French 1 or whatever the case is in high school. And then you'll have a better chance of getting a really strong grade in that, and then you'll be really prepared when you take the level 2 class the next year, and you'll get good grades. That's what's important. Okay, be sure to sign up for classes that are available for 9th graders. Don't start going through the course catalog and thinking, oh, I can get American history done sooner. No, you can't. We only put 11th graders in that particular class, so pay attention to classes that are just for 9th graders. So again, the next bullet point reinforces what I just said, right? Marching band and percussion meet after school as a 7th hour class. If you're going to be in that, we will put you in that class. If you're combining classes at Basha and Chandler online, the total number of classes should still be 6. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but you need to realize that for this year coming up, you're going to be able to register for classes at Chandler online at the same time you're registering for classes in high school. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but you may decide you want to do your English class at Chandler online, and that gives you, the opportunity to take something else at Basha or just have 5 classes at Basha and 1 class at Chandler online. You would be able to this year say right up front, I want to take English through Chandler online and the rest of my classes at Basha, but you should still only be really at 6 classes total. So let's talk about a couple of unique situations that we have. So we do have an agriculture program here, and that would be a CTE program. And those students have the opportunity to combine some science classes. So here's an example of students that may be interested in the Ag Science program, what they can do. So starting with freshman year, they could do what's called PALS, which is Plants, Animals, and Leadership, and Investigative Science. So that's 2 separate classes. Then sophomore year, they do Biology, junior year, Ag Science 1, and then senior year, Ag Science 2. And what we do is that we then combine the credits for Ag Science 1 and 2 to create one whole science credit and one whole elective credit. Or they can do applied biological science and investigative science as a freshman, and then do Ag Science 1 and Ag Science 2, and we would combine all of those to give 3 total credits of science. Okay. We also have an amazing cybersecurity program here at Basha, which is really one of our star programs here. We're very proud of it. It's an amazing program that students can get started on their careers in cybersecurity by getting almost 3 years worth of college credit while they're still here at high school. And when they get out, they really only need 1 more year of college to get a 4-year college degree and start earning a lot of money in cybersecurity. So as a 9th grader, if that's something you're interested in, you would have a English 9 class for both semesters. You'd have your math class, either Algebra 1 or probably Geometry for both semesters, Investigative Science, World History, and then the courses for that program. Computer Hardware Configuration and Support is a 2-semester class. Intro to Computer Systems is a 1-semester class. So to fill in that other empty spot in the semester, we recommend students take 1 class of PE, which, remember, you need a whole year to graduate, but at least then you could combine the PE and the Intro to Computer Systems and get 1 full credit. Another one of our great programs here at Basha is our Air Force Junior ROTC program. So these are some really amazing students that are in this program. There is no requirement to join the military after high school. You do not have to do that. This can simply be a high school program if you want it. But it's a great way to have a lot of friends in high school. They do a lot of leadership and teamwork skills. They do a lot of great trips outside of school. So it's a great way, like one of the items there says, be part of a team on day 1. So if you're maybe not sure about high school, or you think it might be kind of scary and you're not going to know a lot of people, this is one of the best ways to get involved in high school and already kind of really be in a club from the very first day you're on campus. So, that's really something to consider. It's a great program, a lot of great students in it. So give that some serious consideration, because it really doesn't mean you're going to go into the military after high school. Most of these students are going straight into college, but they're getting a lot of great work done before they get there. So now let's talk about how you're going to proceed with logging in and registering for your classes. So what you're going to do now is you're going to log into your Infinite Campus. And on the left-hand side of Infinite Campus, if you scroll all the way down, you'll find More, and you're going to click on More. And when you do, what you see up on the screen will pop up, and you're going to click on Course Registration. That's your first step. Okay, you should be set up for Basha High School based on your boundaries. And what's going to come up on your screen next is you're going to have 2 options, like we just kind of talked about. All students will have the Chandler Online Academy as an option for course registration. So when you start picking your classes, like I said before, if you know you want to take 1 class from Chandler Online or maybe 2 or whatever, you're going to go to the COA box, and it will show you all the classes that are available, and you would pick those classes. Whatever you want to take at Basha, you click on the BHS box, and then it will show you again all the classes that are available, and you start selecting the classes. So what does that look like? Well, once you are to the school that you want, you're going to start to see all the classes displayed for you, and they're going to be in alphabetical order. So you have two options really. You can just type the name of the class where it says search courses. So if you know you're going to take Algebra 1, or say you want to take geometry, you don't have to scroll all the way down to find geometry to click on it. You can just type geometry in and it will give you the options for geometry. You can, if you see the class you want, you can just click on the little blue plus sign. Okay. So if you weren't sure about a class, you can click on the course to see a description of it. And like it says at the top in big letters, optional. You do not have to do this. But I'm just trying to show you options that you can have if you want to learn more about a class. So if you click on it, it'll tell you that it's a fine arts credit. It will show you what the class is about, participate in concerts in this particular case, or assemblies, but it will show you the same information for any class. And it will also show you the course number. In this example, that's DAN 300B. The B indicates it's a second semester class. If you wanted the full year of something that has 2 semesters, you would pick the A number and the B number. So if you find something that you like, you can come down and scroll down to the bottom of your screen and click the little blue box that says Add Request. Okay. You can also use that course as one of your alternates for an elective. And in that case, you would just click the box right next to that that's in white that says Add Alternate. Okay. Like I said before, you don't have to do a lot of that work. If you see the class that you want, you can just click on the little blue plus sign and it'll put it in. Okay. So make sure you select both semesters of each class. Make sure you have an A course number and a B course number. That's super important. You have to have both classes in your schedule to make a complete schedule. And you'll see that each class has 2 unit values. That means it gets a value for the first quarter and the second quarter. So for each semester, there's 2 units. If you do a full year, it gives you 4 units of the class. Okay, so again, you will see request or alternate or cancel. If you click on something by mistake, you're going to click on what you want. Okay, same deal. As you start to build your schedule, you will start to notice at the top of your screen, and it'll start to say how complete you are. So in this example, it's 7% complete, and you'll see that we're showing you the units. It shows 2 out of 28 units because you've selected one section of a class. So make sure that you have 24 out of 28 units for a complete schedule. This will give you 6 classes, right? Because like we said before, there's a unit for each quarter of the school year. So if you're in a class for the whole year, there's 4 quarters in a school year. So you get 4 units. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay. So new this year. So look at what this says. Since you have the ability to choose from both BHS and COA classes, you will need to account for any COA classes chosen by also selecting the course COA from the Basha menu of classes. So what that means, guys, is if you're going to do a class or 2 at Chandler Online, that's fine. Go to your Chandler Online box, find all the classes, select what you want. But when you're doing your Basha classes, you still need to finish up at 24 out of 28 units. So if you're only going to take 4 classes at Basha, that would only give you 16 units. You need to find the selection that says Chandler Online or COA and select that, just like you did your other Basha classes. That will put COA into your Basha schedule, and it will show that you are fully enrolled and you'll have 24 out of 28 units. Don't worry when your screen only says 86% complete. That would be correct for the 24 out of 28 units, and that's okay. So here's an example of what a completed online enrollment request would look like. Notice it says 86% complete. That's right, because you've got 24 out of 28 units. And the student has selected 2 sections of each year-long class. So 2 sections of geometry, an A and a B, PE, an A and a B, graphic design, an A and a B, and so on. Okay, so that is a complete schedule. And you'll notice in the example that there are 2 alternates. Just make sure that you have alternates that are open for freshmen. When you have everything done and it's exactly what you want, you can hit the print button at the bottom of your screen. So make sure you're doing this on a computer that's hooked up to a printer at home. And this is what you will return to the counselors at Basha when we come out to your school to visit you. So counselors will collect your schedule summaries when we return to your school. Make sure you have your parent or guardian's signature on this before you turn it in to us. We need to make sure that they are okay with the classes you have selected. So if you have done it right, this is what you should have to turn into us when we return to your school. 2 sections of each class, depending on whatever it is you want for your 6 classes, and 2 alternate class selections, and then a signature. When we return to your schools, here's the dates, right? Santan will be back on Friday, February 12th, and Payne is going to be a couple of days earlier on February 9th. So we, as counselors at Basha, will come out to your school. We'll probably be in your media center. You guys will come down and you will give us the forms that show all your class selections. If you've had any problems, we'll be there to help you out. Look at what it says. If you don't register online or turn in a registration worksheet, we will be selecting your classes for you. All right. If you're out of the Basha boundaries, turn in your worksheet. That's going to be the sheet of paper that we talked about at the beginning, where you can circle things and write in what you want. Turn that worksheet in, and we will enter the courses for you. So that's pretty much everything that we have on this PowerPoint, and hopefully this has answered your questions and helped guide you through the registration process and picking classes for Basha High School. So if you have any other questions or concerns, you can always go back to our first slide that shows the counselor's name, and you can email us any questions that you have. Other than that, thanks a lot. We look forward to seeing you guys shortly. I was a little slow on the first slide
Oh.
change. I was hitting this and it didn't do anything,
Yeah,
and then I finally came over
it's
and
not a
pushed
big
that.
deal. I
But
mean,
other
it's
than that,
just like if you and I were standing up there and having technical difficulty. Yeah, so if you're all done, yep, hit the check